Commissioner Sykes,
Here.
Commissioner Harris,
Here.
Commissioner Earl,
Here.
Commissioner Downing, here, Mayor,
Here.
City Clerk President, Police,
Here.
Fire,
Here.
Public Works,
Here.
City Attorney.
Present.
Meeting's called to order. Under regular business, we have Chuck Rutledge, who's here. Who wishes to speak to the board. He kind of wants to just give an update on the Sunflower River Walk that's going on. Since it's a new board, we just want to let you know what we're doing and what the project is.
Good morning, afternoon. My name is Chuck Rutledge. I'm here representing a nonprofit called Oklahoma Collective that my wife and I started. We've been working with the city on this particular project since 2019, right before COVID. And we also have the Travelers Hotel at 212 3rd Street, Collective Seed and Supply Company, and then Red Panther Brewing Company that we opened in January downtown Clarksdale. But this Riverwalk project, like I said, actually Kathy informed me years ago that this started back in 1971 when the city developed a plan for a Riverwalk around the river, and it was just never implemented. Parts of it were. So now we have funding to complete a walk around both sides of the river, extending the existing paved path that goes from Soldier Field and stops at Cherry Street. So this new component will extend it from Cherry Street to the MLK Bridge. We'll use the MLK Bridge to cross the river, back through the meadow, under the bridge, and back all the way down the east bank, behind City Hall, around the old county jail site, and then put a pedestrian bridge crossing the river that will tie back to the Soldier Field path, so that we end up with an almost 2-mile complete loop where people can walk on both sides of the river as many times as they want. We've got 2 grants that we got funding from. One is the Recreational Trails Program, which funds the west side of the project, and then the other grant is a Mississippi Outdoor Stewardship Trust Fund grant that funds basically all the east side and then tying back to the west side of the Soldier Field. And the total project cost is $1,278,000. In addition to the grants, we got commitments from various local entities, including the city, $35,000 from the city, and these are commitments that are either in kind and or cash. So the city's $35,000 commitment balances out the RTP, which is a West Side grant. And then on the East Side, tourism is committed to contribute $25,000 in cash. The Parks Commission, $50,000 in cash. Theirs is really coming from the insurance proceeds they received when the Cat Cave burned, because part of the project is actually putting an orientation center on the Cat Cave, existing Cat Cave slab. So we'll put that back to use. CPU, $45,000. And the county, $70,000. So some major commitments from all of our local entities to help make this happen. We have to go through the Corps of Engineers to get a permit because we are touching some wetlands, not significantly, but enough that the Corps has to review this. Their process is about a 45 to 60 day process, which will start very soon. And we hope to start construction in October, first on the West Bank, and then different components on the East Bank. But a year from now, this project should be finished. We should be walking along the river. So, any questions?
No question. Thank you for doing it.
Absolutely. So we've got several contracts that we have had approved already, and then we have more coming that we'll need your approval on as we move forward. So Melissa and Melvin and Kathy will guide us through that.
And we are so excited about this. I've even followed this as a legislation and tried to get certain things funded. We've talked over the years, so I'm excited. And even looked at some research that they've been trying to do this project since, what, 71?
This would be a great
1970,
Hallmark
71. So
project.
this is a long time coming, so I am excited about it.
But I'm excited too. With funding is in place and we're ready to go. So it's going to be nice to have this complete soon.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Kennard asked to be carried over until the 25th. Is that right? Yes. Yes, 25th.
August.
August 25th, yes.
Okay.
Peggy Hemphill is gonna be appearing before the board requesting sponsorship for the Jessie May Hemphill Festival at the Crossroads Cultural Arts Center, the festival would be on Saturday, September the 27th. We've tried to get a hold of this next gentleman several times, Austin Jones. All it says on his request is, who will be the city commissioner for the city and how are they elected? So I'm not real sure what he's wanting to know. Dandy Jackson has requested to appear before the board again. City attorney has an update on that as well.
Yes, it's a much lower amount, before I discuss it in public, I just wanna say it's a much lower amount that he will have to pay to get his property back in his family's name, much lower, less than $1,000, right now, so, I wanna be able to talk to him about that directly first, and
So,
before he comes in on Monday.
and so what I encourage you to do, make sure that we have everything in lane and turn, you know.
All right, Rebecca Pleasant Patterson, is coming before the board to request on behalf of Grill Arts to close 3rd Street between Sunflower and Delta on Saturday, August 16th, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that's for an after-school program that they're gonna be hosting. So that'll be next Saturday. Meriwether Stovall will be appearing before the board to discuss an animal control issue, and she would like to talk to the board about an ordinance, upgrading it. It is a little outdated, but she wants to talk to the board about possibly upgrading it. And I do have something for you to review that she left. So it's a pretty big packet. I'll let you review it over the weekend.
It's also in your,
And you'll have it,
on your tablets.
yes, and you'll have it from Monday's board meeting. Margaret Walker had appeared this week, Sunflower River Blues Festival. Tonight is the grits and greens and barbecue that they do. It's at 6 p.m. They were requesting porta johns, dumpster, garbage cans, spraying of weeds, cutting the grass, and mosquito control. Since the festival's this weekend, we just took it in our hands to go ahead and try to handle this. We've always helped the Sunflower River Blues in preparation for the festival. So Public Works has already gone out. Porta johns have already been placed out there. We have cut and sprayed the weeds and the grass. We have arranged for mosquito control, and the garbage receptacles have been received, and they will be placed out tomorrow when the festival begins. Is there anything else I need to address? Dave Houston, I guess, is going to be appearing before the board on behalf of the Clarksdale Day Festival.
He came in June and the board agreed to act as a sponsor of the Clarksdale Day Festival. So he is asking for the same thing as the Blues Festival: porta johns, dumpster, garbage cans, and cleanup.
I'll add that to the agenda. And what day is this on?
Labor Day weekend, so the end of August, beginning of September.
Oh, so it's March.
Like 29th, 30th, 31st.
All right, Sylvester Badgett, they had came before the board requesting to use the National Guard Armory located on Ritchie Street as a meeting place for the VFW Post 8590. And the American Legion Post 203.
Yes. So, there is a statute that does allow you to, let the veterans congressionally, well, specifically congressionally chartered veterans organizations and their auxiliaries to use, property for free. Only those, statute applies directly to those listed organizations, that again have a that have a congressional charter and their auxiliaries. And so you can use a room in the Civic Auditorium and make it exclusive to those veterans if you so, I'm sorry, not the Civic Auditorium, in the National Guard Armory, and make it exclusive to those veterans if you so choose, as long as they have certain days. I will recommend if they have larger events that be handled in another building.
So, and also the discussion was, that more than one, it has to be veterans organization, not just that.
Correct. It can be congressional, but again, as long as they're congressionally chartered, the law does allow you to do that. It can be used for more than one veterans organization. You can designate a room in the National Guard Armory for those organizations. Yes.
So I think that's what Mr. Bernard is coming to the board about as well, with on behalf of the DAVs to use a room. So we talked about using the same room and then just separate days for each organization. Okay. All right, election commission appointments. We still need 3 election commissioners for the election commission.
What's the matter, what board they're from?
No. Since we have 3, we just choose whatever. Friars Point Bridge, we're gonna be acknowledging the certificate of substantial completion for the Friars Point Bridge Road.
There will be payments on the miscellaneous claims for the closeout.
Then we have miscellaneous claims that will be approved. Lisa Fisher in my office had received permission to attend summer school and requesting tuition reimbursement. We have a policy that allows for this, depending on what your grade is, as long as it is related to your job. She was going for human resources, trying to get a master's. So she made all A's, very proud of her, and the reimbursement is $4,842. Planning Commission Ward 1, will you be ready for that?
Yes.
Okay. Quality of life, I have Ward 2 and Ward 4. You'll be ready? Okay. Commissioner Harris? Okay. Waiver of process of entry for appearance to consent to claim property located at 109 11th. We got the waiver signed, and so I'll be asking to acknowledge that and authorization for Public Works to clear that property. Principal insurance, you see we do our dental, vision, and life. There was no rate increase on it, so I'm requesting permission to accept the coverage for that. Bid advertisement, I'm going to be requesting permission to advertise for bids for a new fire truck in the fire department. We have one of our fire trucks that's going to be paid for in the spring of 26. Usually it has been the city's policy, once one gets paid for, then we move on and try to go ahead and get another one. It is time for us to get another one as well. We would be looking at a fire truck that would be fully equipped as well, because the accessories that come with it are very expensive if you order it separately. And a fire truck is not cheap anymore. Not that they were cheap before, but they're extremely high now. So, quotes, we've got the quotes for the culverts. Commissioner Earl is asking for permission to accept the lowest quote from Dulaney Drainage. The amount was $10,901. This is for the Corbin Street project. Public Works has, been asked to come up with, steps and the procedures, what would be required to do this project, so everybody can be aware of what we're looking at. Starting from step one, removal of what's there, cleaning up the ditches, putting the new culverts in, new driveway, whatever, everything else. He's gonna come up with the steps, and I'll have that listed on here as well. Completion of introductory period for 2 firemen. They just completed the academy last week. Ventavious Galmore and Stephen Webb. Otha Hunter in the inspection department has completed his introductory period as well. The summer program has been completed, so we would be acknowledging the termination of the following students. I will be requesting permission to set the budget hearing and the tax levy hearing for Monday, August 25th at 5:15. Still working on the budget. I did put a copy of it in your packet on the, Granicus. So you have one there. I'm still working on modifications. I just got the valuations from the county. And so I'm not real sure what we're looking at as far as the tax levy, so I am gonna be working on that this afternoon, and tomorrow I'll try to get those numbers put together and see where we're at as far as the tax valuation and the tax levy goes. This is Mississippi Home Court, I need approval of a letter to Mississippi Home Court replacing Chuck Espy with Orlando Payton as the city authorized signer for the home repair grant. Authorization for the mayor to execute the requisite documents and contracts to continue the execution of that grant. I had an employee request permission for George Johnson to use his accrued annual personal leave for medical reasons. The landfill, I did want to inform the board that Public Works will be having to attend the landfill that requires dirt to be placed on it. It's something that we're supposed to be doing every 2 weeks, and it is time for it. We've been doing these removal of these houses for the last couple of weeks, so now he needs to get out of the landfill and get dirt placed on top of those, in top of that pit. So he's gonna be pulled from removing these houses and working out there at the landfill, because that's priority right now.
I'll go ahead and say that there was an inspection a week and a half ago by MDEQ, and there was their explicit instructions to the Public Works Director.
So that was 2 weeks ago, and that was one of the things they told us to make sure that we do follow. And so Craig is gonna be going out there and getting that taken care of. And it might require working on a weekend. Alright, Planning Commission, we're gonna acknowledge just receipt of the Planning Commission. There was a carryover matter in it. There was no action to be taken other than acknowledging the receipt of those Planning Commission minutes. But no action happened yet. Contract amendment, permission for the mayor to amend the contract for phase 2 of the auditorium improvements. This is the South Annex roof repairs, the restroom renovations. This is all the restrooms over there at the auditorium. And there will be an alternate restoration of the dressing rooms. I don't know if y'all realize, but there are dressing rooms up above the stage area, and that'll be something that, we'll have to see how much that's gonna cost to do that. But the main priority is getting that roof fixed and getting all those restrooms updated.
They're small.
They are very small.
They are small.
And the stairwell going up to it is real narrow. It's not real safe, I don't think. So I don't know if it's something we want to consider at all. Grant opportunity, Demetrius Weeks was requesting the mayor to execute a grant opportunity through the USDA Rural Community Development Initiative. I'm not real sure, did you get a chance to review?
I reviewed what they sent. They have not yet returned my call, but it appears that this organization, Windrock International, is applying for a grant through USDA that would serve rural communities to include Clarksdale. So we would not, the city would not be a recipient of that grant, but it would allow them to perform action within our area. But again, I will have more information hopefully before the board meeting on Monday to share.
All right, under discussion, I had several matters to bring up. The first one, I had received a proposal for a website redesign. That would require taking proposals, and of course, before proposals can be taken, specifications have to be drawn up. And the board needs to decide how we want to do the website proposals. There's the possibility of going in and having somebody design a new website and providing maintenance to the website. So anytime there's a change, they would have to be the ones to go in and do it. It's very costly when you have somebody else to provide it. The other possibility is somebody to design the website and then we provide the maintenance. We have an individual within the city that provides the maintenance, does any of the upgrades to that site. And that's probably the best way to go. It would be a lot cheaper that way. But the board needs to decide which direction, and that'd be something you can think about over the weekend, and then we can decide maybe on Monday which direction we want to go. But it is time for an upgrade on our website. Software module, we've had a lot of discussions on that this week. Several different matters have come up. We have a module right now with Granicus that is not being utilized. We talked about taking proposals for it as well and seeing if we could get something. I think that the module we have is not real easy to use, and it's not something that everybody would be able to have access to, nor does it like notify an individual, a department head, when there is something for them to do. But it's a source of an individual can bring information, requests, the mayor, the board, citizens, any kind of request, any other city personnel. It can be recorded into the site, and then it would be followed from beginning to the end. So when the department head begins on a project, they can go in and say exactly what they're doing. And then upon the completion, we can go in and let everybody know when it was completed. So I think it helps with the board for sure, and then it would help with the public to know what's going on.
Is this the proposal Mr. Turner made last year? Is that the
Yes,
software package
we had that package, yes, and we're looking at possibly going to somebody different.
that nobody used?
That's correct.
A waste of money. Thank you.
All right, the next matter.
But now you said there's a different software that we can use that we can take advantage of.
There are several different software companies out there that can do this. So we can go out and get proposals.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Earl had brought up wanting to change the time from 4 o'clock to 5:30 on the board meeting days on Monday. The attorney has to look to see how it can be addressed. I was thinking it was going to be by resolution and order. He said possibly that it would have to be done through an ordinance.
Because we do have a meeting place ordinance, and I do have to check one again in our other ordinances in our charter documents as well to make sure, because it does say our regular meeting. So whenever you have your regular meeting, that's the meeting you can have without special notice, without having to post. And so that requires just a little more than just an order. That takes something to where everyone should know and has had one good notice, and that's for all time. So, but however, there is a way to temporarily or even longer term utilize the 530 short of the ordinance, and that is to have the mayor come to the board meeting at the regular time and more, and without a quorum and simply recess to the later time. So that way we don't have to, you can implement that immediately, and you don't have to change your ordinance and go through that process and have to wait on that process to start implementing that time. And it also makes it, if you find that people are not taking advantage of it, if they're not showing up, then you can go back immediately to your regular scheduled board meeting without again having to do another ordinance and wait another 30 days.
What time is it here Monday?
Well, I think
I'll be here for.
4?
Well, I don't think we were looking at doing it right away. We were talking about the following Monday.
we're not for the Monday because then you have the budget hearing as well, the 5:15. So you have to do it early than 5:30 anyway.
Well, yeah, we would do
I would suggest we could do the budget hearings first.
it. Now, we can always do it at 4 o'clock on the 25th, have the regular board meeting, and then when 5:15 gets here, we stop the meeting and do the budget hearing at that time. If we're not done with the board meeting, then you would go back into the board meeting after the hearing, and then you could look at starting the first one in September at the 5:30 time, and that might be the best scenario.
Yep.
That, because with the budget hearing, it kind of disrupts everything.
Budget.
Okay, so 4 o'clock Monday, August 11th, 4 o'clock Monday, August 25th. And then we'll look at doing it. And in the meantime, we'll check what the procedure is, but, and we can report that later. Group medical insurance proposals, we are looking at a 40% increase on group medical insurance. This is an expense by the city for each employee. We had already reached out, because I hadn't heard anything yet, to take proposals. Yesterday I heard that it was gonna be the 40% increase. With it being so high, it's gonna require more information to be obtained. I have to have a 2-year claims experience to see why the insurance rates are so high. Anybody bidding on it needs that information, so I'm gonna have to get that information from the current insurance carrier. So I'm gonna have to look at receiving these proposals at a later date. I originally asked for them to come in next week, but I need more time than that now. We've got to give the insurance companies more time to be able to review, me to get the information, and then for them to review it. So I'm gonna be looking at in September. And it is an expense to the city, not to the employees, but hopefully we could come in with a lower rate too. Commissioner Earl asked me to put this on the agenda, discussion of the removal of the board appointments to the Clarksdale Public Utilities. I guess then I would go back to the attorney as far as what any procedures and how that actually would work. I did put a copy of the ordinance in your packet, and then the attorney is going to send me the case law to include as well.
And it is in your email. So I will say this, what I can say in public is that the first thing you have to do is have a hearing for four calls, and then anything else I would say would be either an executive session or in the hearing itself, as far as what your standards are. But the law is clear. In order to do a removal, it's not a simple vote. You do have to have a hearing first, due process hearing first.
What do you say?
So let's get it done.
I have a question. what's the length of term for an appointment for a commissioner for a utility board appointment?
5 years.
So even though the commissioners change, that person sits there unless you have them removed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's any board, right?
Well, some are 4-year boards.
No, I'm saying the process
Yes, that the
is any
process
board.
is for any board, that
Yeah.
is correct.
Well, let's try to expedite the situation, because we got people that got high ridiculous light bills, and they're supposed to be our spokesperson over there. And if we don't have a voice over there, then who gonna work for the people? So let's expedite this as quickly as possible. I mean, you got citizens got $1,600 and $800 light bills. That is ridiculous. And we need to have people sitting on those boards that are gonna be a voice for us and for the citizens. We can't speak over there, but we have an appointment over there that can speak for the people. And that's who we serve, the people. So I want this process expedited. I don't wanna drag it out.
We have talked to many people, and they're all disgusted. People have to take their monies and pay their bills, light bills, and instead of buying medicine, buying food. Because if you've got a $500 to $600 light bill and you're on a fixed income, how can you buy the things that you need if you're trying to pay your light bill? We're not thinking about all the citizens. Everybody can't afford to pay a $1,400. And then in some areas, it's higher, look like, than in other areas. And I don't know what it is. You know, they said there's some kind of formula that they're using. Well, we need to be more clearer in the formula that we're using.
May I say something, please? I checked for 4 or 5 customers and their bills went up and they were upset, but they went up because they used more kilowatts. I mean, they ran 1,500 kilowatts a month before, they're running 2,500 now. You run 1,000 more, your bills don't go up.
And we understand that, Mr. Hammond.
Well, I checked for 4 or 5 people and all 5 of them just
We
used
understand that.
tons of more power. It wasn't that the city was ripping them off.
I mean, should no citizen have to choose between paying their buying medicine or buying their kids school clothes or making a decision whether they're gonna pay a light bill that's $1,600 or $400 and, you know, to buy food? Like, come on, that's ridiculous. There's barely jobs in this city. They have to travel up the road just to make a decent living. And you want them to choose between a high utility bill and putting food on the table? Everybody don't have that luxury. And I'm speaking for the citizens of Ward 3.
And
I
then
spoke for them and I will speak for them.
Well, they're that cold.
constantly putting late fees on and late fees.
So I want the process expedited for my citizens. I'm their spokesperson. So let's get it done. Let's not procrastinate. That's what we did for 8 years, procrastinate. And I'm sick of it.
I think we're at a point that we went 20 years with what we call a bad contract.
Yes.
And I think that I think Curtis Boston made a statement when that contract ended. He said, we signed a bad contract. And what I noticed myself, I did a lot of research on it, that this time of year, it goes up because it's hot, right? But something happened in Clarksdale where CPU, that it really goes up. And I think that based on what I'm seeing, if it's correct, I hadn't looked this year, that sounded like a bad contract been signed again, based on what I hear you guys saying. Possibly a bad contract been signed again. Curtis Bosch admitted on year 20, we signed a bad contract, and he admitted it in Clarksdale President.
So how do we get the Boschert and our representations of these boards, how do we get them to this meeting to give reviews?
You just
And I know that they also have meetings set over there. Are they open to the public? Do
Yes.
they voice their concerns there at those meetings too as well?
That's correct.
That meeting is on Tuesday.
It's on Tuesday. What time is that meeting?
Second and fourth Tuesday, I'm not sure exactly what time.
So the next meeting will be Tuesday the 12th at 4:15 p.m. at the CPU building.
Okay. And I have to go back over that contract. We reviewed that contract.
I've read it,
And it's,
the ordinance, I've taken it to, Mr. Miller, he showed it to him and to other people. And it says for just cause, and I know what Mr. Miller told me about just cause, but I don't wanna hear about the just cause.
So, in answer to your question as far as meeting with the boards, yes, you can do a letter to each of the boards requesting them to appear at your board meeting, at whatever time, you so choose. And you can just do it through your regular board meeting. So, now. Go ahead. Yeah, okay, so this matter, needs to be further discussed in executive session, we don't need to be talking anymore about it in an open meeting. I do not have any other matters before you in regular session, so, did anybody else have anything that's regular session? No? Alright, so the next thing would be, motion to go into closed session to make the determination in the necessity of an executive session. So I need a motion to do that.
So moved.
Second. Move properly, second, all in favor, use voting sign of aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion is carried. Move properly, second, all in favor, use voting sign of aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, motion carried, executive session.
There was no action taken during executive session.
Is that- Okay, I have no other business, before the board, so right now we're going to adjourn.
Motion.
I move that we adjourn until
Monday at 4 o'clock.
At 4 o'clock.
Second?
Move properly, second, all in favor, vote say aye.
Aye.